is the Palin Update on SaraNet Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla.
No one expects us all to agree on everything, but we are expected to govern with integrity and goodwill and clear convictions.
Many feel we'll need a Herculean effort by citizens and the few conservatives we can rely on in Washington to get through another 4 years of Obama. Today, we're fittingly joined by the man who played Hercules for years, and now he's making a positive difference through his work. Kevin Sorbo is here to talk about his numerous projects, including the inspiring movie Abel's Field. Plus some words of wisdom from Governor Palin, and the turkey is barely digested, but Christmas is in full swing. Sarah Steelman has her take on why we should savor Thanksgiving a bit more. The latest Steel Resolve commentary with Sarah Steelman is just ahead. First, you know him as the star of Hercules, The Legendary Journeys. He's also the author of a tremendous book, and he's starred in several movies with positive messages. One film coming out in January, an absolute must-see. Perhaps you've also seen him and his wife as well, Sam Jenkins, on numerous TV talk shows. We are pleased to have this great American with us today. Kevin Sorbo, welcome to the Palin Update.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Sir, you're starring in the inspirational film Abel's Field. It comes out on DVD January 22nd, and it's a faith-based story. So, Kevin, tell us about your role here in this movie based in West Texas. You play a groundskeeper who mentors a young man going through a lot of problems.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to give too much away here, but I'm kind of a drifter. I'm a guy that's on the road all the time, and he ends up being a janitor at this high school in a very, very little small town he finds in Texas. And the coach ends up hiring him on because the groundskeeper from before is a bit of an alcoholic, never shows up. So he hires me to take care of the field. The character's name I play is Abel, hence the title Abel's Field. And it's sort of a modern-day Cain and Abel meets Friday Night Lights, the setup of that is. And we actually end up mentoring each other. There's a lot of stuff going on between both characters, and we're just sort of, we end up saving each other's lives in a way.
And there's a message here I think many are looking for right now, and that's finding hope in unlikely places.
Yeah, no question about that. Finding real hope, and it was a wonderful script. You know, I mean, it's amazing. When they sent it to me years ago, they actually sent it to me. I'm on as producer as well. We've been putting together a package for this movie for about 4 years before we finally went to our first day of shooting with it, and it was very satisfying to finally get it done. And we had a big screening in L.A. at the Paramount lot. 500 people filled up the screen, industry people, and it had a huge response from it. And it's been, it's been great. We were hoping for a theatrical, obviously, but the deal that we got from a firm division out of Sony is a very good. They're very good at promotion and very good at getting this thing out there. So we're hoping for big things, of course.
Kids who don't have parents, like Seth, the character in Abel's Field, played by Samuel Davis, it's often hard to find an adult they can trust or look up to. Did you have to research any real-life situations like this to get ready for this role?
You know, not really. I mean, the words are there in the script in itself, you know, and to me it was like, you see enough of this in life going on, and I have an after-school program, and I've met with a lot of different kids, and you've seen the sort of the family situations they got on, so they have to live with. So to me it was easy to sort of tap into what some of these kids are going through and just apply it to myself as an adult. And, Samuel did a great job. I mean, this is his first big leading role for him. He's a local boy there out of Texas. He goes to the University of Texas there in Austin. And, I'm glad they picked the guy they did because he fits perfect for that role, and he did a wonderful job.
What kind of a guy is Abel? Could you relate to him on any level?
He's a lot more quiet than I am, that's for sure. He's been through a lot. I mean, I can't relate to what he's been through and where he's going through in his life and what he's having to deal with, and just the lifestyle that he's chosen for himself. And he's a guy that's sort of punishing himself going through life. He has found God, but he knows that God has forgiven him, but he has yet to forgive himself for everything in his life. And he's a bit of a torturer in a way, and he's very humble. He's become very humbled, and his meeting up with Seth's character is it first starts out with a lot of friction, but they realize that they actually need each other more than they do, and it culminates at the end of the movie where there's complete trust between both of them.
Some really striking bonus features on this DVD as well, showing the making of the film. How was it working in Texas? Not the usual place films are made. You mentioned Friday Night Lights earlier. I thought of that too when when I first took a look at this. We had Janine Turner on here a while back talking about Friday Night Lights a little bit, but not where these films are usually made. So what was that experience like for you?
I've actually shot in the Dallas-Fort Worth about 4 or 5 times through the years. I did a couple movies for Sony I'm very proud of called Walking Tall. There are 2 Walking Talls, The Payback and Lone Justice. And they haven't caught up to Louisiana. I mean, their government there, and I know the Texas Film Commission had me come in and meet with some of their people years ago, and basically, like, I have all the answers, but all I told them, I said, look, if you want more production here, just look at your neighbor, Louisiana, because if you follow what they're doing, a lot more people will come. Trust me, it's called show business after all, and that's why there's been so much runaway production out of L.A. L.A. complains about it, but, it is a business, and if people are going to give you bigger tax credits in California, then people continue to shoot. Hollywood will not shoot in Hollywood. They'll go elsewhere. But, they did, it was pretty amazing because it was a smaller crew. It's about a $2.5 million budget on this, and they all just hit the task head on. I mean, we're shooting in 105 degrees heat every single day, and it was toasty. And I got to wear full-on coveralls and stuff. I said, can't my guy wear shorts? I mean, but it's not what they wanted for the character. But it was an experience, and the town is very small. It's called Thrall, Texas, and they only have a population of 700, and I think about 659 of them go to every home football game.
Speaking of mentors, like Abel is to Seth in the film, and these names, Abel and Seth, obviously there's meaning there, but mentorship's important to you in your life. You run a group, A World Fit for Kids?
Yeah, I've had a foundation now going on 16 years, and people can go get information. They can go to worldfit4kids.org. That's worldfit4kids.org. And we're the #1 after-school program in the state of California. California, here's something we should be proud of now in California. We are now 50th in the country for the worst public educated students in the country. Mississippi held that title for middle years, but we decided to knock them off and become worse. So I'm in L.A. County. L.A. County has a 54% dropout rate in the Unified School District. My program has a 98% graduation rate with the same students within that same, we're able to take in 12,000 kids. That's our max on the budget we have. We're a nonprofit. And, I go to D.C. once a year to meet with, members from both sides of the political fence, and it's amazing that after 16 years they still haven't pushed my program to be adopted in every city across America, because I can create real jobs and create real change with at-risk youth students all across this country. But it's amazing the uphill battle we have to go through.
Kevin, you've overcome some health battles in the past. Can you tell us about that?
I have a book out right now called True Strength, but between seasons 5 and 6 on Hercules, this is back in 1997, I had an aneurysm on my left shoulder that blew up on me, and not only did I almost lose my arm with the hundreds of clots that shut up the oxygen supply there, 3 of the clots decided to go in my brain. I suffered 3 strokes. Universal Studios kept it very quiet, which I'm grateful for. I did my rehab really happened down in New Zealand where I was filming the series, and I spent the next 4 months learning to walk again, going from a guy that was in better shape at 38 years of age than most guys in their 20s. So it was a long uphill battle for me. It took me about 3 years to feel 100% again, if you want to call it 100%. I still have repercussions, but no one would be able to know. I'm the only one who knows what's going on. But the first year and a half were tough, and the next year and a half, at least there were very good progression in my recovery. But I wrote a book. You can go to TrueStrengthBook.com, TrueStrengthBook.com to get information on it.
Now, many know you as Hercules, of course, for your role in a very successful show in the mid and late 90s. Was that a real positive time for you?
I loved it. I mean, other than suffering the strokes for my last 2 seasons, 6 and 7, it was fantastic. I lived in New Zealand 7 years. We became the most watched TV show in the world, which was really kind of cool. We knocked off Baywatch, and it was amazing. I mean, my crew was fantastic. They were like me. That was my big break, and for them, that was their big break. It was a small country with a small infrastructure, and we actually trained quite a few people. Peter Jackson used to come up all the time to check how things were going. He took quite a few of those people to work on Lord of the Rings after we wrapped up shooting in late 1999. So it was pretty amazing. It was a wonderful time in my life.
You and your wife have been out there on the talk show circuit talking common sense and showing people there are conservative thinkers in the entertainment business, and that leads to films like Abel's Field that convey a positive message of faith and friendship. We're seeing a lot more of these movies now. People want films with hope and love as the theme. There's a market there, isn't there?
Well, there's a huge hole there that Hollywood never paid attention to. And it took a movie like Blindside to come out, because Blindside is certainly in that faith-based world, and it made so much money that all studios kind of perked up and paid attention that there's a huge market out there that they're not paying attention to. I mean, Christians get a lot of bashing, but let's face it, the majority of the country does believe in God. They don't have to believe in Jesus, so to speak, but they believe in God. They believe somebody created all this, so there's a huge market out there. So, like Sony did Affirmed, you got Fox with Fox Faith, and it's definitely gone. I just finished shooting one just right now, actually, that we got 1,100 screens coming out next fall, and just finished shooting in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and that's called God's Not Dead, where I played an atheist college professor, which was interesting for me to play an atheist. But I have plenty of atheist friends, so I drew off of that. We've had plenty of good debates and discussions in the past. But it's great to finally see that. And I've got a TV series that I'm pitching right now to the studios that deals in that world, because ever since Seventh Heaven and Highway to Heaven and oh my gosh, the Roma Downey one, Touched by an Angel. I mean, there's a huge hole in television program right now that needs to be filled. That people want to see good, solid, moral-based television.
Those atheists always want to debate, don't they? I have a friend who pitched for a team that I announced for a while, and even online, I'm always getting these comments. He knows I'm a Christian, and it's always something. But that speaks volumes about your character, Kevin. And I think a lot of conservatives who it's not the R or the D or the whatever next to your name, it's the character of the person that you consider a friend.
Well, it's interesting. When I first moved to L.A., I lived in Santa Monica, and for 60 years, I'm sure you've seen the story. Santa Monica put up an amazing nativity scene.
Oh, yeah.
Number of blocks telling story. And, you got a small percentage of atheists. They came in there, and Santa Monica folded. They said, "Oh, we don't want to go through the court battle," so they pulled it off. And I'm like going, you know what? Give these guys the space they want to give. Who cares? But to me, it's just a big bullying tactic. They have freedom of speech, and that's the biggest argument. Well, freedom of speech, freedom of speech. Yes, you have freedom of speech, but you know where you got that? You got that from a group of Christians called our founding fathers. So it's incredible to me that they're using our own weapon against ourselves to make us stop talking about Christianity. And I don't know what the big deal is. I don't know why Christians are taking such a bashing out there. And all other religions, we got to be careful and not do any, no racial profiling or whatever else that goes on because of the political correct crowd. It's insane. This whole country is just going backwards right now, and it makes no sense to me.
No, and it's very tough to take. I heard the man in charge of that group, that atheist group there, and he tried to spin it in different ways. But, it's pretty loathsome what's been going on. And you do talk about, profiling people or using these categories, and that's what we've seen from the left. They take, race and sex and gender and whatever else above right and wrong, and it's unbelievable.
Oh, they scream for, freedom of speech. They scream for tolerance, but they're the least tolerant people in the world, and they want freedom of speech, but only if you agree with what they say. And I am all for people having their own opinion. I don't get all crazy about it, but what I get crazy about is when I can't have my opinion to these kind of people, and that's what they do.
Kev, when reading up on your bio, I noticed you made an appearance on the old show First and 10. I used to really enjoy that show, one of the first series on a premium cable channel. Now they're the norm, but that show was funny. You remember what you did on that one?
I played a defensive end in the show, and all I remember is having my pitching wedge in between shots, and O.J. Simpson and Lawrence Taylor and I would sit there from one end of the end zone to the other trying to make field goals from 120 yards away.
That was a funny show, though, and I hadn't thought of it a while, and I saw it on your bio, and I said, how about that? I probably watched it at the time, not knowing who you were then.
Sure. I mean, yeah, because after that, I just really did a bunch of commercials, and I got guest spots here and there in Cheers, Murder, She Wrote, things like that, but it wasn't really until 5-6 years later when I got Hercules that, people started to know who I was out there, so that was my big break.
Well, Kevin, God bless you. You're doing great work. Abel's Field available on DVD January 22nd. And how can people learn more about you and the film?
Well, then go to kevinsorbo.net to find out information. I've got a number of movies out there. Actually, I'd like to give a quick plug to A Christmas Angel, which is out right now. You can get it on DVD at Walmart, or you can watch it on Netflix. It'll also be, it's out actually forever. It's going to be out all December, that one. And, of course, Abel's Field comes out. They can go to ablesfield.com. That's the website, ablesfield.com. On Facebook, they can go to facebook.com/ablesfield. That's facebook.com/ablesfield. And to me, Twitter, they can follow me at KSorbs, KSORBS. Sorbs was my nickname for my buddies way back in the day. They still call me that. So at KSorbs is where they can follow on Twitter, and I post a lot.
Kevin Sorbo, thank you, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
An inspiring story of faith, friendship, and finding hope in unlikely places, Abel's Field debuts on DVD January 22nd from Sony Pictures Home Entertainment and Affirm Films, Provident Films. Kevin Sorbo plays an inspiring role in this one. Be sure to check it out. And for more, go to ablesfield.com. And for more on Kevin, head over to kevinsorbo.net. This past week on Twitter and Facebook, Governor Palin offered some words of advice, writing, "Results, whether good or bad, come from the choices we make. Choose wisely." Boy, is that true, and certainly driven home of late. Governor Palin always on top of the pulse of America. Now, our weekly commentary, Steel Resolve. Here's Sarah Steelman.
Thanks, Kevin. The holiday season always brings up questions about the transition from Thanksgiving to Christmas. You know, it really bugs me that year after year, the retailers push Christmas ahead of Thanksgiving. This year, the infamous Black Friday began on midnight on Thanksgiving. We spend less than 24 hours celebrating all our blessings and expressing our gratitude before we begin the season of what I call SIS, self-imposed stress. This self-imposed stress starts with wanting the perfect Christmas and ends up with buying things we don't really need. It seems like the symbols of Christmas have become idols to our culture, and some quickly forget the true meaning. In our own household, we have certain rules about Christmas. No Christmas music played, no Christmas movies watched, no outside lights or trees will be put up until after Thanksgiving. In fact, I got in trouble with my son because I violated the rules this year by watching a Hallmark Christmas movie the weekend prior to Thanksgiving. I think the Thanksgiving season is the one that should be extended. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the Christmas season, but an attitude of gratitude can change everything for individuals, for families, for communities, and for our nation. I know for me, when I started to let problems get me down, if I change my frame of mind and count my blessings and thank God for all He has given me, those problems don't go away, but they just don't seem as daunting. I want that kind of attitude for our nation, too. When we point our fingers and blame each other, the problems seem insurmountable. Instead, the people of this country need to express their thanks and gratitude to each other and to God for living in a free and prosperous country. Maybe if we change, so will the attitude of those in power. So this year, let's extend the season of giving thanks and let it overlap into the Christmas season. This is Sarah Steelman with SarahNet Radio.
Tune in again next week for another segment of Steel Resolve right here on the Palin Update. And don't forget, the Palin Update, including Steel Resolve, is now on demand and available for download. So just head to SarahNetRadio.net, pick the show you want to hear, and you can listen anywhere, anytime. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on SarahNet Radio. Visit SarahNetRadio.net for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. I want to thank Sarah Steelman and everyone here at SarahNet Radio. Thanks to Kevin Sorbo. And thank you for listening today. Please be sure to join us next time for another edition of the Palin Update. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day.